Good day, ladies and gents. The question I am attempting to answer is all around CAPSTONE. The questions are, which way do I go? So firstly, important, you must remember, I'm the private trainer. For you to complete the requirements to get your CFP designation, you have to register with the Financial Planning Institute. That's very important. And there are two pathways that you are going to be looking at. And if you come onto my site, you'll have the CAPSTONE and you have the MCQ, the online assessment. If you have completed your postgrad 2023 beyond, i.e., rather, let me rephrase that, you completed it up to 2023 and including 2023, so that's when you did your postgrad prior to 2024, then you have to register for the multiple choice questionnaire with the FPI. It's 50 random questions. You've got to pass that first. Once you've passed that, and they run this every single month, so you decide when you want to register with the Financial Planning Institute. Once you've passed that, then you'll go on to the CAPSTONE. So let's take a step back. If you have completed your postgrad from 2024 going into the future, then you don't have to do the MCQ. You can go straight into the CAPSTONE workshop. Okay, happiness. I am now going to say to you, or rather attempt to explain to you, what is the private trainer's responsibility, or what is it that we're aiming to do in these programs? So if you have completed postgrad before 2024, you have to go to the FPI and sign up for the MCQ. What does Synergia Learning do? Well, we offer two programs at the stage, option 1 and option 2, where option 1 is purely multiple choice questions. We've got over 700 at this moment. We are populating as we go along. Because remember, court cases change, legislation change, so we will add as we go along. And what option 1 does is option 1 gives you a multitude of questions, quiz, under the topics that you're going to be tested on. You will be tested on asset management, business assurance, corporate tax, deceased estates, estate planning, financial psychology, marital regimes, and off we go. So under each of these subject matters, you will get quizzes to test your knowledge. Each quiz has, I tell you how many questions in that quiz. They're not long quizzes because I know our attention span is short, and I'll also time you because remember, when you go write this exam with FPI, they're not going to give you the entire day to complete it. I think you got 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken, to complete 50 questions. So you can imagine the intensity of those questions. When you've completed the quiz on my platform, you get a memorandum explaining how and why I got to my particular answer. And that is option 1. It's quizzes and memorandum. You clearly always have access to me. You must remember, once you sign on my platform, it doesn't matter what it is, you always have access to me. So if it's something that you disagree with, you contact me. When you register for this quiz, you've got 75 days access. That means, you've got 75 days to study. If you decide to register, let's say, 1st of February to write in February and you didn't make the February, then, you've got some more time for the next quiz with the FPI. It is limited because obviously we want you to push yourself and not sign up and decide only in a year's time you're going to do the quiz with the FPI. All right, so that is it. Then what you have is you have option 2. And what option 2 does, I'm just waiting for the system. What option 2 does is it is identical multiple choice question that you have with option 1. Identical. Okay, it doesn't differ. You also get the memorandum. But what we have added under option 2 is 2 additional elements. For all the subject matters that you've just recently seen under option 1, so business assurance, estate planning, etc., you will have a recorded webinar. So if you need to understand a little bit more about buy and sell, the recorded webinar is there. If you need to understand a little bit more about law of succession, a recorded webinar is there. It's a recorded webinar where I go through some content, I use some examples, and it's a refresher. You must remember, you should know all of this. It shouldn't be an entire postgrad, but if you look at it, it nearly is, actually. So it comes with recorded webinars, and what I'm adding here is CBD allocation. All right. That's why you'll see there is a difference in price because it gives you additional content, recorded webinars, and CBD as well, which qualifies for FPI as well as for the FSCA. So that's if you're having to do legacy first. Now, what if you don't have to do legacy? What if you've already got postgrad or you have already passed the MCQ? Well, now you go to the Capstone workshop, right? FPI is offering 3 opportunities this year. January has obviously already commenced. The next one will be in May, and then you'll have another one in July. The 8-week program runs that they give you a 6-week assistance on development of a plan. They give you a case study. You've got to do a financial plan and submit that financial plan. The days run, as you notice, although I've got live sessions at the bottom, the dates, those dates may change depending on your demand. All right. You've got a meeting with FPI on the Thursday. I have a meeting with you on the Tuesday. So what are we going to offer? FPI has specifically said that you decide what your plan must look like. You can use whatever FNA you have. It doesn't matter what it's called, what it's not called. You can do it manually. The development of the plan, what it looks like, if it's blue or pink, 20 pages, 5 pages, that is totally up to you. They are spending 6 weeks in guiding you what should be in that plan. So they are doing the soft issues of this plan. There is no ways I am now going to be duplicating what they are doing. I'm not going to be teaching you how to develop a plan. All right. I make 2 assumptions here. One assumption is that you are a practicing financial planner. You do have systems that you currently use, and that's what you're going to be using. So why am I going to make you pay and spend time on a platform to teach you how to do a plan? But then the second aspect that I must remember is not all of you are financial planners. So some of you may need and want that support on, is this how we develop a plan? Should I include this? Should I not? And here I am. That's what I'm here for. If you need that help, you contact me. I am a practicing financial planner. I am a lecturer at UJ on their masters for wealth planning, specializing in financial planning. I am specifically the lecturer as well as the examiner in the integrated module, which is all about, here's a case study, give me a plan. It is at a higher level because they're in NQF 9 and this is NQF 8. So it's not as if I don't know what a plan is all about. I do the same with my students, but you are free to do and present it in any manner. But what is it that we're going to be looking at? What is FPI going to be looking at? Is it just how pretty your plan is? Is it just how many pages you have in your plan? No, I don't do that with my masters either. What I look at is, of that case study, did you identify all the risks that is inherent in that client? All the concerns, all the goals, did you identify it? Are your calculations correct for those concerns, etc., that have to be addressed. And not everything has calculations. And when you did recommendations, when you made this recommendations, did you manage to pull it all together? Did you look at the budget review? Did you look at the tax planning? Do you even know the latest changes in terms of tax? Because if you have a beautiful plan, but you've made a recommendation where the legislation has changed. Just recently, we had a lot of legislation changes. Okay. Did you take that into account? Is everything accurately documented and recommended? That, ladies and gents, is where I come in. That is where my expertise lies, all right? It's the technical aspects of your plan. So what am I offering you? Besides the live sessions, which we'll talk about in a sec, you will notice that when you sign into the Capstone, you will get 7 courses. Right, 7 courses, which covers the categories really of financial planning. Estate planning, and you need to understand law of succession. You need to understand the Wills Act. You need to also understand a little bit about estate, deceased estate. You need to understand trust law and tax, because that's part of your recommendation. You know, you may want to transfer some of the client's wealth into a trust. So what is that all about? What is the tax? Are you going to create a tax burden? How does that impact estate duty? How does that impact business assurance? How does that impact loan accounts? What if your client is a shareholder, a partner? Maybe it's just an employee, a key person. What is the impact there? Oh, wow. Let's not forget that marital regimes and the definitions of spouses have changed considerably. All right. And there's been some court cases as well as a regard of divorce and death when you're married with the accrual. Big changes, has a massive impact on financial planning. Do you know about that? Then, of course, we've got our retirement and the lump sum, the 2-part, which I'm sure you all know about, investments, and then I have the capstone per se. So let's just look at 1 or 2, because I don't want to make this a long recording. But if you go to the Capstone program, you'll notice that what I have kept there is all the past papers. Right. It's there if you wanted. You don't have to go, but it's a lot of learning. It's there. And what you will have is the date of the sessions with all the recordings of those live sessions. They are recorded in case you cannot make it. And what will be in this course as well is all the legislation changes. So you're going to get a webinar that says, ladies and gents, what's happened recently from the 1st of January 2025 is the following legislation changes, and you can go and take a look at that. All right. Then if we look at one of the other programs, let's just select 1 or 2 just to give you an idea. Well, let's go take a look at the estate planning course. Go to the estate planning course, and under there, you will have all the technical subjects that will be required to support your recommendations. It will be not only about the Wills Act, it will be about provisions in the will, it will be estate planning. If I'm looking at business assurance, there will be marital regimes in relation to business assurance. There will be limited interest, deceased estates. I'll talk about capital gains, some more on law of succession. There's lots that you need to know on law of succession, and also recent changes to the Divorce Act. So that is all under estate planning. Again, it's technical knowledge to support your recommendations. If we select, let's see, something that it's not really discussed in your postgrad is trust law and tax. That's not really discussed in your program, nor is the real law of succession either. So yeah, you will get the Trust Property Control Act, the principles, the tax, and when you are planning with trust. And some of them carry some quizzes just to test you. So in a nutshell, you're getting 7 courses because there's 7 categories, really 7 sort of areas in financial planning that have to be tested, with a whole lot of online content, recordings, and which supports the technical aspect of your plan. Then you have the live sessions, as I mentioned here. If I go back to the workshops that are offered, there are 6 live sessions that have been scheduled. All right, what am I going to be talking in those live sessions? So you will start getting your case study in March, and you have to submit it by the 4th of April. Up until then, all I want to do is to make sure you are totally up to date with legislation, the things that have changed, because that's important. This is not post-grad where, don't worry, we'll only test the 2024 changes. No, it's not. It's the changes that are already in place by the time you submit. Is that correct? Okay. But once you've got the case study, the idea is that I get a copy of that case study, because one of you will send it to me, that I then analyze it fully. And we have sessions around that, where the first session will be me telling you things to look out for. What does this mean? What should you be considering? What should you not be considering? And then you're going to go and you're going to develop the plan, and we get back together again, where you're going to be engaging and you're going to say, well, I think this has this particular impact, and I think I'm going to recommend a key man. And we chat around the development of your plan. It's very important that I do not develop the plan for you. That you must understand. It doesn't matter who out there says we will help you develop your plan. That's all we can do, is help in support. We can't tell you what to do. We can't do the plan for you. And I know a lot of you are going to want to send me your plans and say, do you think it's correct? One thing you must remember, I mean, I'd love to say, yes, I will rubber stamp every plan out there, but it's your plan. And if FPI discovers that I changed your plan, I changed your recommendation. It's not yours, it's mine. They're not going to fire me, but you're going to fail. You're going to, well, fail sounds terrible, but you're just not going to be competent. So do I help you? Most definitely. Do I guide you? Most definitely. The only thing I don't do is put the plan together for you. Right. So I hope that has given you an idea of why we are here. So that is the entire program, right? If you feel you don't want the entire program, but you need to know a little bit about investment planning, or you don't understand retirement planning, etc., then you can go and do that course. You can see it's obviously a much lower price, because it is, you go in, you go do the studies. There are no live sessions. I am still available for you, but it's not as if there is a live session. If you go into the program, all the technical subjects here are part of that package. It's not like you have to do the package and above. No, I just have to take into account that some of you know your stuff, don't need help whatsoever, don't need that extra guidance. You just want to do trust law, then you go do trust law and tax, and you go do some self-study, and that is the end of that. Now, this program in its entirety is also getting a CBD. I'm hoping to have that now Monday coming, which will be the 3rd of February. So next week, you'll probably see a CBD allocation on that as well. These individual ones may not have. It's a decision I still have to take depending on what the demand is, but it may not particularly have. Okay, so I'll end it here because there's lots more that is on offering, but I think this is sufficient to sort of guide you. Thank you, ladies and gents. And by all means, you've got my contact details right at the top there. You need anything, you just give me a buzz. Enjoy, and all the best for everyone who's going on this path. It's an exciting path. Thank you so much.